Good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon program of BCB Live. This is the producer here once again, hanging out with everybody on a Friday afternoon. It is a wonderful, wonderful Friday, and I want to thank all of you for making the time to come on and be a part of the show. So we've had some really interesting and exciting things going on, it seems like the past few days here in the studio. If you caught it today, we had Jorge Bonilla in here today, who is a security expert who is the president, I should say, of the the Duality Alliance, which is a security firm who deals with protection, data encryption, a lot of other things. And the guys worked for the government, the military, huge businesses, off seas, domestically, all over the place. We had the pleasure of having him in today for an interview. So if you guys missed that and are interested in it, you can always check that out on YouTube at the BCB Transport or BCB Live YouTube page. So some pretty cool stuff there. Interesting interview. I had some fun with it. And, other news that's exciting is we are at 87 days. That's right, 87 days of no DOT reportable accidents. So that, speaks for itself there. 85 days is a massive achievement, and congratulations to all of you guys for continuing to get that number up and at it. I continue to be impressed, and it continues to rise. So, good correlation there. We're also at a big 2 at getting out and looking, which, we started off at 1. We had an accident a couple days ago, but it's always going to keep on going up. So it's good to always remember that and not necessarily look at the downside of that being a restart. Just a chance for new opportunities, a chance for a higher streak, and a chance to do it better this time. So I believe everybody will do good on that. And I don't know about all of you, I am definitely looking forward to the weekend, and whether you're going to be running or staying at home, I think it's a good time to relax and kind of enjoy the more laid-back times of traffic. So we do have some interesting things in the news. I know this morning we talked a bit about the Taliban coming back and kind of taking over in the embassy or just in Afghanistan. That was a hot topic this morning, as well as whenever we did our interview with Mr. Bonilla. So it's actually come to light that there was a memo that was anonymously given to NPR about the latest emergency preparations being made by emergency diplomats at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul, including the destruction of sensitive documents and computers, as most of them are preparing to leave the country. The memo was written for a staff at the embassy, but was shared on a condition of anonymity. So what it states is that most will be evacuated by the 3,000 troops on their way to Kabul that are going to ensure a safe and orderly departure. And the embassy will be evacuated, and a very small consular staff will work in Kabul. The embassy staffers were instructed to destroy sensitive documents and desktop computers before they leave. Staff members who don't have the consular experience are being asked to depart by the end of this month. The acting ambassador is also meeting his counterparts in other embassies and updating them on the situation. The U.S. has also called on the Taliban to not attack the embassy and departing U.S. diplomats, as they do employ Afghan workers and not necessarily just U.S.-based people. The future was, however, not clearly stated. The Afghan government control is rapidly shrinking and limited mostly to the Kabul and eastern parts of the country, so this is a development that is ongoing, and I hope and pray for everybody who is in those positions to get out safely. Whether you are a U.S. worker or an Afghan worker, I think the safety of your fellow man is the most important thing here, so hopefully this all goes well and nothing comes to a tipping point with it. Now, in less serious news and more interesting transportation news, Rivian, which is an electric vehicle startup, which some of you may be familiar with, some of you may not be. I have been reading up on them over the past couple weeks just as they gain a following and gain more money in their startup. So they are actually an electric vehicle startup and are working on creating electric vehicles, while maybe not necessarily trucks, more so consumer vehicles. They are actually backed by Amazon right now, as Amazon has funneled a lot of money into Rivian, and they are now planning on investing at least $5 billion to build a factory near Fort Worth, Texas. The factory, codenamed Project Terra, will be able to produce 200,000 vehicles a year and will create at least 7,500 jobs by 2027. Now, this was given off in a presentation made by the City of Fort Worth's Economic Development Department to the City Council back on the 10th of August. Now, this also includes a number of incentives and includes grants and a county tax abatement of up to $440 million. Now, this $5 billion capital investment commitment from Rivian also includes $2 billion in real property improvements and $1.6 billion in hard construction costs. So lots of money being funneled into Fort Worth through the construction of this site. Now, it may also boost the local economy, bringing in other jobs and other things like that, and maybe provide a glimpse of what an electric vehicle company can look like when it's not Tesla, right? Because I know that we always talk about how Tesla is doing this, Tesla is doing that, but this may provide a competitor, and maybe a good competitor. I think this is a good thing. We've seen a lot of quality control issues lately with Tesla, and a lot of not delivering on promises, and I think an electric vehicle that's focused more on the electric aspect of it and less on the automated driving side of it will be good for just the average consumer. I think Tesla gets caught up very much in their, I guess, marketing of a self-driving car, that they lose sight of the environmental, benefits of having an electric vehicle. So I think Rivian coming in will be a good thing. Now, of course, no final decision has been made, and it could be some weeks before a deal is actually agreed upon with the city and everything, but the Director of Economic Development in Fort Worth, Robert Stearns, said in an email that the city is very excited to be a finalist for the project and looks forward to continuing the process. He also told members of the city council that several stages were still under consideration, and while the city of Fort Worth believes it offers a number of competitive advantages over other competing cities for this business, including a strong access to talent and the ability to stand up production fast, there are still other considerations. I believe there's also a place in Arizona that is up for consideration for this place, but we shall see. Now, Rivian itself has raised more than $10.5 billion from investors, including Ford and T. Rowe Price, as well as Amazon. So it's up on the come up, and we will see what actually will come of that. Like I said, I think it'll be a good boost to the economy, and I think it will be good for the industry as a whole. I think competition is important in order for things to really get developed anywhere. Whether that be in the industry, I think it's good for, trucking. We see now, if you have a competitive industry, then it leads to innovation and better things. Here at BCB, we are safer, and that leads to better competition for other people to be safer. And I think that that's a healthy thing for the industry. But getting past business things, be careful with what you play with whenever you're playing with your cats. I have a cat, or I should say my girlfriend has a cat, and we like to use a laser pointer, right, sometimes to kind of see her move across the floor. However, a Wisconsin woman accidentally shot her friend while using the laser sight on a handgun to play with her cat. Now, the criminal complaint is charging the 19-year-old woman with negligent use of a weapon, as she said she was visiting a Kenosha apartment on Tuesday afternoon where a 21-year-old man had brought out a handgun. The woman, who admittedly said that she had been drinking, picked up the handgun and turned on the laser sight and was pointing at the floor to get the cat to chase it, because, what better way to entertain your cat than to point your handgun at the floor with a laser pointer instead of just, buying a $2 laser pointer. Now, as she was getting the cat to chase it, the gun did go off, according to the complaint filed on Thursday. The man, who was standing at the doorway, was shot in the thigh. He left and went into another apartment where police found him after responding to a 911 call. A tourniquet was applied to his leg to stop the bleeding before he was taken to a hospital. There's no word on his condition, but authorities said he was facing charges for violating bond conditions, and that prevented him from having a weapon. The woman, however, told police that she thought the magazine had been taken out of the gun and said it accidentally went off, according to the complaint. So, think what you want on it. It's kind of, I think it's pretty funny. It's like you could simply play with your cat normally, or you can get the handgun. I'm actually surprised this wasn't in Texas, because it sounds like a Texas story. Somebody having their handgun out using the laser sight on their handgun to get their cat around and kind of bring them in to see what would happen. But again, I'm not the most esteemed cat person, but I think it's funny nonetheless. Now, I know that we've been talking a lot about distracted driving and things like that, and I think it's important to remember that now more so than any ever before. We are still in those 100 deadliest days of the year. It is just the middle of August, with a lot of kids starting back in school. I know that colleges have started to kind of make their way back into going to in-person classes. My brother is out and starting his first year in college. Lots of kids are making the trek down to colleges or high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, so on and so forth. As teachers and students start to go back to school, we are going to see more people on the road, and we're going to see more, not very experienced people on the road as well. So I think it's good to remember that we are approaching times where people who don't necessarily know what they're doing on the road are going to be driving. And just remember that as we're going out. If people are cutting you off and slamming on their brakes, it's important to remember that. I will say, I know that we had some drivers who had mentioned it numerous times since I have been here about, hey, why don't we get some of the people on the show to put some of these kind of tracking and stabilization technology in their own personal vehicles, and let's see how they stand up. So I am taking the challenge that you guys have put up, and I have actually put in a stabilization reader in my car. It's from my insurance company, and I was like, you know what? I want to see how I drive because you all have to drive with it every day for your job. So for my hour and a half of driving that I do every day, then I should be able to drive just as safe as everybody else, or at least do my part to be a little bit safer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the results of that every 2 weeks or so, I think is whenever they update the results in the app that goes with it. And if you guys are curious, I will post those on here, whether it's good, bad, or anything in between. And let me know what you think, and let me know what I can do to be safer. And I, like I said, have been trying to change my habits as I have been part of the show, and I'm hoping that that actually comes out. So I'm curious to see what happens, and I'm taking the challenge. So I will let you know. The only thing I need now is the automatic camera to really get on everything, but I don't have the money to just throw around on that right now. So if we have an extra one here in the yard, I'll take it, but, we'll see what happens. But yes, so wanted to let you all know that I am taking the challenge on that. And if you're curious, we can get into it. But I'm sure you are all a bit more curious about some money that's being given away today. I know that we have $100 on the line here that needs to be thrown around. We got some cash to give away. So with that, let's spin the wheel and see what happens here. So we're rolling, and James, oh wait, no, James, I think you got it last week. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me check this really quick, actually, James, because I'm pretty sure that we got, yep, that was, no, maybe not. Maybe it has been a little while, James. Alright, no, you get, or, yep, nope, it has been. James, you did get it recently. I'm sorry, I'll have to roll again so we can give a fair thing here. Alright, Mark Lapp. Mark Lapp, do you know that phrase that pays, sir? Can you unmute yourself and give me that phrase that pays? I see you've unmuted yourself, Mark, so you should be able to talk into your mic. There you go.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
The exact one I don't remember, but I have a better one. Don't be a chump.
I'll take the suggestion. Let me get a pin down, and we'll use it for next week's phrase. Let me hear it, Mark.
Oh, you promise me you'll use it?
If it rhymes, that's the biggest thing. That's what I always get harped on about. So
Okay,
let's hear it.
it works. Okay. Don't be a chump. Vote for Trump. 2024.
Hey, it's gotta be about safety, Mark. It's gotta be about safety. All right.
I tried to pin you down on that one. Okay. Yeah, I don't know it.
All right, and we are moving on. Yep, that's strike one. And we're rolling. And Ricky Butterfield. Do you know that phrase, the pacer? Can you unmute yourself and let me know what you got for us here on this wonderful Friday afternoon? Ricky Butterfield. Ricky. What do you got for us? Maybe, possibly. I'm waiting for it, Ricky. Going once. Going twice. And Ricky, we are moving. Lonnie Payne, you've got to know it.
Can you hear me, Dylan?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, sir. Hold on here. It's don't stress when traffic's a mess. Slowing down your roll is good for your soul.
Lonnie, I will give you one more shot on that. You're so close. You're on the tip. You're on the tip of it. You're on the precipice. You're so close to it.
Don't stress when traffic's a mess. Slowing your roll is good for your soul.
There you go, sir. You missed that first word the first time, but you know what? Lonnie? I had to give you that second chance because you have been faithful to the show. I feel like we almost owe it to you at this point, right? So thank you, Lonnie. You've got $100 in your bank account coming up.
Mr. Dillon, we appreciate your commitment to the safety. Also, is there any way that I can donate that winnings to our buddy Larry Graham?
Of course, sir. I will get that written down for you. And you know what? We appreciate you. It's a very kind gesture, and I will definitely get that for you. Thanks, Lonnie.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too.
Welcome to Rapid Fire. Today we've got DJ. So here we go. Talk or text?
Text.
At what age do you want to retire?
Now. I'm just kidding.
I like it. Do you snore?
Yes.
Do you believe in fate?
No.
What's for dinner tonight?
Pizza.
That sounds good. How many times did you sneeze in the last 7 days?
One.
What's your favorite carnival food?
Corny dogs.
And have you ever seen a kangaroo in person?
No.
Thank you for joining.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking for my picture on the screen, and I know I'm there.
Rob, I'm giving you the thumbs up over here. Trust me.
I'm like the producer. I'm waving my arms in the air like I just don't care.
When we see our mugs on the face, we know it's time to start talking, and they weren't there, so it's like...
he just likes to trick us up once in a while, right?
Hey, the afternoon's about having fun, right?
That's true, and it is Friday. I mean,
Friday the 13th even, so you know...
Drive Safe Days already checked out for the weekend. He's walking around, but he ain't doing nothing, so I figured that's what we're going to do. Hey, welcome, everybody. Man, what a way to wrap up a great week. Yes, we lost our backup streak, but you know what? These streaks are getting near 30 days all the time. Yes, it kills me that we can't go a year because I know we can do it. I just know it's out there. But at the same time, compared to where we were a year and a half, 2 years ago, 3, 4, 5 a month, now we're having one every 2 months on average, I think, this year. Great job, everybody. And we are at 87 and 2, right? So 87, we're 13 days away from the big 100 on our DOT reportable preventables and our preventable accidents in general. So, again, we've had a couple where we were hit. People backing into us not getting out and look. This week, though, we just want to continue our steamrolling and getting that momentum up for Brake Safety Week coming up in August 22nd through the 28th. That's a week from now, is what we're going to tell you because I guarantee you that we'll start that weekend. And we went over some of the most common reasons for brake failure and then wanted to close it up with statistics. We love the statistics. As I get older, I can't speak very well. And it's 10% of fatal truck crashes were due to equipment failure that was coded critical by the investigators. So critical, just so you all know, critical means neglect. It really does. Because if it's a critical equipment failure, it should have been caught, right? I mean, tires, brakes going out because they weren't maintained. That is what they're getting. And so remember, every lawyer out there is looking for neglect because they can, in most cases, double the amount they're going to get, which, let's just face it, their percentage goes up, right? Yeah. You know, hey, I can make an extra $40 million instead of just a regular $40 million, which is, if I get 10%, there's another $8 million, right? I mean, is my math right there? No.
10%.
Yeah, 80. Yeah. Okay.
Depends on which number you use.
I used to be really good at that. I never even questioned my math. Now the only time I don't question my math is when my wife tries to challenge me. I said, really? The person that has the least math ability in this family, you're going to challenge me? She admits it, but the men in our family got all the math. My son teaches math. I loved math. I just think it's neat that somebody sat down and figured that a squared plus b squared always equals c squared. And it's like, first of all, I always, I don't look at the formula. I'll go back and say, what possessed them to sit there and think of that, right? So again, hey, but the math is that 10% of all fatal crashes are due to equipment failure, and that is, and folks, you hear us harping on the pre-trips, pre-trip. That starts your day. Post-trips are important too. They can save you time, right? Because you can get stuff that you found fixed while you're off duty. If you're at a truck stop, they can be doing that while you're off duty. But the pre-trip, that sets up your safety because you are pre-tripping stuff before you take it out on the highway. And that's where the accidents are going to happen, the fatal ones, let's face it. So again, the pre-trip is so critical to your job and to your life. I mean, it really is. But hey, we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to be right back with some weather. All right. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Hey, do you know Christmas is just a little over 4 months away? Can you believe that already?
I don't like to think about that, but yeah, for sure.
Don't?
It's just the year has gone by too fast.
There was one of my favorite music artists of all my life, and he will always be. But he wrote a song, or maybe he didn't write it, but he did a song on his Christmas album that said, "If every day could be like Christmas." So again, the king of rock and roll, Elvis, and I always love that song because I'm like, yeah, why can't it be? At least in our hearts, right? We don't have to give gifts every day.
I was about to say I would be broke every day if every day was Christmas.
The gifts should be more like, hey, I'm the gift that keeps giving, right? Just giving of myself, right?
How about you give us some weather, Bob?
I can give you some weather. Not much. We got some rain going through the whatever that valley is. It's kind of south of the Ohio Valley, so I can't really call it that. It's not in the south. It's right in the middle of nowhere. Tennessee. Sorry, all you Tennessee people that live there. But now, we got it stretching from Pennsylvania through D.C., Virginia's, down into Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and a little bit in southern Ohio. Right there, that's going to be really close to Ashland. Because I remember we been on that river many, many times, the Ohio. Hey, we got some weather back here in Albuquerque as well. But just not a whole lot else going on. Anybody wondering about our little tropical storm, Fred? Fred is, actually, I don't think it's been classified as a tropical storm yet. It's a tropical depression or something like that. But here it is, just south of Nassau. Oh, wait, that was 9 o'clock this morning. Let's get it where it is. Close enough. There, that's still, looks like it's lost some steam because it's still just south of Nassau. It's moved up into the Nassau area, but again, it seems like it's falling apart. There's nothing defining the eye. Let's see what it's going to do as we go into 6 a.m. tomorrow. Again, it moves right off of the tip of Florida, but right now it looks like it's forecasting to be weaker because this wasn't anything like they were talking earlier. So, and our winds, I mean, there was some purple in there. Yeah. They've slowed down to 39 miles an hour. So, again, they were in the upper 40s, almost 50s yesterday, wasn't it, forecast? So, again, looks like it's weakening a little bit. And for those of you that have plans in Hawaii, go ahead and make them. I pushed this out today, and this thing actually shrinks a little bit and then angles up as it gets closer to Hawaii. So your travel plans should be good. But you can see the winds, there's just not much going on with our winds, which is good for our firefighters out there in California. Alamosa, you're looking at 32 mile an hour gusts, but you can see a lot of green, not a lot of yellow. The yellow is usually your 20 mile an hour gusts. Our current winds, a couple spots, 18 sustained winds, 18. They're in near that Lubbock and New Mexico area. Up north in Minnesota, there's some 18s and 20s, so really not too bad. As we wake up tomorrow for our weekend, tomorrow's really good. You can see a lot of blue there, and in the afternoon, really about the same as today. Let's see what the temperatures. Do we get our break? Come on, temps, get up there in them 90s. I need that. I don't need it, but my wife won't get in the pool unless the temperature is 90 degrees. I said, that's taking a bath. I don't understand that. I want to be cool. But you can see Oklahoma 96, Dallas 95 currently, Vegas 102. And let's see, really not too bad when you consider it's the middle of August, basically. 10 a.m. tomorrow, we're in the 80s. And tomorrow afternoon, is it going to warm up hotter or colder? About the same, folks, in the mid-90s. So we are getting a little bit of a break from the heat. Summer is almost over. Now, you know better than that, don't you? So, again, be ready for that heat. Again, keep drinking the water, though, and make sure that you're hydrated. Here's our chances for storms tomorrow afternoon. Again, kind of the same areas are just getting hit over and over again. You can see New Mexico has the chance for some storms. Pennsylvania, right now, this same hook is right there. It looks like it doesn't move much in the next 24 hours. And then you can see the chances in all of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Oklahoma as well. This evening, kind of dies down a little bit, but right through the middle of the country, from Denver all the way to Pennsylvania, there's a chance of some thunderstorms popping up throughout the middle part of the country. Still no rain out there in California. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some videos.
Here's how to send your HOS logs to law enforcement. First, press the Options tab. Then, select Enforcement View. Select No when asked about a password. Press the option that says Send Hours of Service Logs to law enforcement. Then, enter the number given to you by the enforcement officer and press Submit.
Hey, welcome back. And like Bob said, what a great Friday afternoon. Great way to wrap up the week with some videos. Got some great videos.
This is my elf. My elf, right? I'm Santa Claus. It's Christmas, so you can be the elf.
You got it.
I have the ability. I have to be Santa Claus.
So if every day's like Christmas, then how is Christmas different than any other day? So you got to think about that too. And we got some great videos out here, folks. The big picture situational awareness here. Driver comes around the curves, manages speed very, very well. Vehicle off on the side of the road. Bob pointed out this morning, probably wasn't sure which exit to take, decides to jump out in traffic. Our drivers, because of a big picture situational awareness, has the speed down, slows down, does the courteous things, let that vehicle pull out there. No, no harm, no foul, no nothing right there. So great job, driver.
Outstanding.
Like this one, I've heard Drive Safe Dave coin the term, own the road in front of you. And here's an example of this driver just doing a great job of, again, speed and space management, owning that space in front of it as it starts to close up, slows down a little bit, backs off a little bit, and recreates that space. Just a super job.
Terrific. Love to see the speed down.
Yeah. Always have to have one. And this is a stale green light again. We always have to learn the green lights and intersections. Intersections are such a dangerous place. We always have to have that situational awareness around the intersection. When the light's green, even if it's green, we know it's going to change. What's our speed? At what point can we get stopped safely? Slow down a little bit. If it stays green, we can still get through it. But on this one, we rushed up to a little bit, got stopped. Great job by the driver to get it stopped. No hard brake, but like I said, situational awareness when we're coming to an intersection with a stale green light.
Yeah, you want to push off committing. I love the term. don't commit to this intersection until you absolutely have to. And the way to slow that point of commitment is to slow down. That's what you got to do. We commit, I'm going to say almost right about here, we're committing to try to go through the intersection and then have to stop. You want that commitment to be right there at that white line. That's when you decide, you should be able to decide. And the only way to do that, slow down. So great job. We're getting there. We just got to keep at it.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about right here when I just talk about speed in corners. Stability events happen in the corners so often. Drivers got the speed way, way down, manageable as they're getting off the road here into this curve. So just, again, a super job by our drivers. We're getting it. We're learning from watching and from us talking about it, from them sharing their thoughts with us. So great job here, driver.
Awesome way to end, and another great one.
And another curve. We're 5 miles right speed for a tight curve. We're coming up to construction zone. I think we're about 5 miles underneath what the posted limit is there. So just a super job. And again, we're coming into some construction zone, so we really want to have our speed down there anyway. So great job, drivers. What a great way to end up the Friday or the work week.
Yeah, is that area ever going to be not under construction? I mean, it has been that way for, I think, at least the last 4 to 5 years, that 30 in that area.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Hey, do we got any callers? Anybody want to say ho, 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 buckle up, Bob?
Yeah, we got Bobby Harris. What do you got for
Hey,
us, sir?
Bobby.
Ho, 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 Bob. Well, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Bobby.
Yeah. Give it to Double D there. He'll enjoy it.
What you got for us?
No, I just wanted to make sure I bring it up again. People are still not doing their inspections, and no brakes on the trailer. I picked up one yesterday, or dropped off one yesterday, after I'd been sitting with it for 5 hours. No brakes on the trailer again.
Did you send it in for us to investigate, buddy? Macro 39?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I did.
Thank you, Bobby. We'll get to the bottom of it.
All right.
Did you send any pictures in, Bobby?
Yes, sir, I did.
Awesome, awesome. I'm telling you, folks, just like our videos, them pictures, when you find these trailers, drivers can't argue it. They can say all day long, when I show them the picture, they got nothing. That's huge for us. Who else we got, producer?
Yeah, Brian Winsauer. What do you got for us, sir?
No, I'm not bringing the
good
Cubs
morning.
of victory for Christmas. You are not getting a Cub victory for Christmas, brother.
Well, in that case, you're not getting the homemade kolachkis that I got from the Polish deli
Oh,
the day before yesterday.
oh, then I changed my mind. I can let you have one win.
I have a old school Polish Russian deli in my hometown, right by my house. But anyway, now the reason why I went green, I just had an incident happen, and it's kind of a reminder to everybody. And if these four-wheelers just don't understand how incredibly dangerous it is. I'm passing a truck in the left, obviously in the left lane, and I'm waiting for, a reasonable distance to get in front of him before I come over on him. And these my turn signal will be on, and these four-wheelers get so impatient. So I'll look, I will literally see it clear. I just start to come over, I look again, and boom, he zipped around. And if I didn't look back that second time, I'd have creamed him and put him right in the ditch. It's so important that we have looked twice to make sure that lane is clear before we come back over, whether we have our turn signal on or not. Just a reminder.
Now, hey, great point.
Yep.
And the thing to remember is, we talk about situational awareness. Situational awareness doesn't always mean legal or the right thing to do. And what I mean by that is these four-wheelers, right? We know, everybody in their world knows that four-wheelers don't want to sit behind a truck. So you have to, like Brian said, you got to look twice, because if there's somebody back there, they're getting impatient. Trust me when I tell you, probably close to 80 to 85% of all four-wheel vehicles don't want to sit behind a truck, and they are going to jump out some point. And you just don't know when. It's just like at Russian roulette. And yeah, hey, just so you know, my son-in-law makes an amazing deer kielbasa. So he's Polish too. So, man, I go up there and I love what he makes out of that deer sausage. Who else we got, producer?
Yeah, David Mason. What do you got for us?
David Mason.
Hey guys, I just wanted to to add in there when you're making a lane change like that. Like what I always try to do is make it look like the whole tractor and trailer is straight and never, like there's no pivot point. If you make the lane change slow enough, you can actually kind of watch that mirror as you're moving. And then if somebody comes out, I don't whip it back. Like if they do whip out while I'm 2 or 3 feet in that lane, I'll ease back in the lane. Like I see drivers turn their tractors to make a lane change. I don't, it should be such a smooth motion that it's like it's just all a straight line.
Yes. You're right. Everything when you're driving, nothing should be a snap or a quick movement. It's just not going to go well for you in the long run. You may get away with it a time or two, but it's just going to bite you at some point. Great points, David. Appreciate it very much. Anybody else there, Mr. Producer? Hey, everybody. It has been a great week. Man, we are, what's the day, the 13th?
All day.
We are 9 days from a historic moment in history, folks. Something that you all should be appreciative of. And we'll let you know that as it gets closer. And we are 13 days away from somebody in there in this office stepping up for safety. So I'll decide whether I'm going to tell you what that important day in history was in 9 days or not, but we'll see. But we definitely got somebody important that's going to step up for safety. God bless each and every one of you. Have an outstanding rest of the day and the weekend, and we will talk with everybody later.
Feliz Navidad.